What's up and welcome to a new market update, and today we're going to cover 3 altcoins that are really cool to watch, and I think they have got a lot of potential in which we are currently in a market where we are buying the dip, as I think that there's still more upside to come as long as Bitcoin stays above 40 grand. So that's what we're going to look at today. But before we're going to continue, make sure to subscribe and like this YouTube update, and check out my Twitter and Instagram where I'm posting daily content about the markets but also about my life, as right now I'm into Miami where I'll be visiting the Bitcoin conference, and next week we're going to Paris to visit the Paris Blockchain Week. So when we're looking at the markets right now, we have been discussing it the past few days in which we said, okay, we're consolidating, we're correcting a little, the dollar is showing some strength, also equities are correcting a little. That gives you a perspective of a chance to get back into the markets again if you have missed the previous run. If you're looking at last week, the amount of people that were FOMOing into the markets, specifically into Zilliqa for instance, was quite high. The amount of people asking for updates on Zilliqa, or the amount of questions specifically on that project or on projects that have been running, started to increase. Well, right now the markets are correcting, but like 2 weeks before that, the actual questions were not there. So that tells you a lot about the sentiment of the markets, and right now we're getting into a second chance where we're going to have some beautiful opportunities for altcoins to go for. So we're going to discuss 3 altcoins, and those 3 are projects that I think that have some serious momentum going ahead. The first 2 are layer 1s that did not have a run yet. We are looking at layer 1s that have been running, that are Avalanche, Matic. We have seen Phantom doing well, Harmony has started to wake up, Ethereum in itself is doing great, Solana, all of those have been doing absolutely crazy stuff, and some of them are not doing too much as they first want to build, but their ecosystem started to grow quite heavily. Those 2 are Atom and Polkadot. I think that those should be into your investment portfolio, and I think that if we're looking at the price structure combined with the fact that the ecosystems of those 2 are actually growing quite fast, I think that there are more upwards momentum gonna come in the next months, or at least it's a great investment opportunity. The third one is a project that is currently a layer 2 and has some updates coming up quite fast from now. Mid-April the first upgrade is gonna come, but it's a project that is a layer 2, and that is also what I think that's going to be a group that's going to do well. I think layer 2s are going to do well, CKs are going to do well. I think that the DeFi sector in itself is going to be ready for the next run, and we're going to cover that next week. The last one is going to be Skale, in which we're currently having a beautiful drop, and we're going to explain why I'm getting interested into that one, as Skale has been making a run already. So let's end this introduction and get towards the charts, in which we're going to discuss these 3. So when we're talking about the actual price action of Atom, we can see that we have been consistently moving into a range for approximately 8 months. So we've got a top right around $44, and we've got the low, which is around $20, and we have been acting in between for 8 months. If you have the conclusion that the markets are going to move upwards, why would you not want to enter in the lower bound of this range, knowing that when it breaks out of such a range, it starts to move quite fast? And I want to recap how it went previously. If we have been acting in sideways range for here over a year, actually approximately like 6 to 9 months too, we started to break out of it and made a beautiful 4x afterwards. So in this case, if we are hovering in this range for a longer period, the breakout will be epic and the breakout will be relatively large too. So in that case, when we're currently moving at this support level, I would definitely start to show interest into this one, and if we go back towards 21 again, I'll probably add up on my position. What are the targets to expect? Well, we still have to break out of this range, but I think that if we're going to have some more upwards momentum on the markets, if we test this range here, the odds of sellers taking over are going to decrease, as more and more sellers are getting exhausted after TPing already earlier. So in that case, if we get into this lower bound, I think that if you want to buy right now, probably the potential loss you could have is approximately like 40 to 50%. but the upwards potential is maybe even a 4, 5, 6 or 7x from an investment perspective, knowing that the entire Atom ecosystem is slowly starting to wake up. So there's lots of potential in this one, and I think that you will be doing well if you are looking into this project, and personally I'm interested in taking the position relatively soon. So when we're looking at DOT, it's a beautiful example of how the altcoins are reacting at this stage. We have been making a nice rally during February, another test of the lows creating this bullish divergence, another rally sweeping this high, which we have been doing here, right? Which is also the highest candle bar of volume beneath here, so that says that all the liquidity has been taken. Plus we have been testing this previous support for resistance again, and now we are going sideways or we're going south. So we're at a very important level of support, which is the area around 19 bucks. We have to sustain there as a support level, which is kind of familiar when we get towards Bitcoin and Ethereum. These two are also on similar levels, in which I think that those are crucial to hold. So if you have the approach of getting into positions, these are the regions that you should be looking at, especially if you want to have a short-term bounce, but also if you want to take longer positions, these are the ones to go for. If we lose the level around 19 bucks for DOT though, I'm expecting that we're going to get a retest of $15.75, but then still, if we zoom out on this scope, the all-time high is 54 bucks, and we are already down approximately like 70% on this crypto project, or like layer 1, and most of the DeFi is also down 80 to 90%. So technically, if I want to look for investments and I see a chart like that, I think about DCAing and getting into a position rather than starting to sell. If you want to start selling, you have to sell when the moment is there, or when the hype is getting heavy on a project, just like Silica last week, but also like Skale has been doing last week, which have been making a beautiful breakout, nice cup and handle around the bottom, right? We got this low, tested the previous resistance point, which Polkadot is doing right now, started to retest the lows and made a giant move upwards, which was already a 3x plus. Right now we are having a very swift correction, in which we're getting into support points. I'm not really sure whether we get towards 18 cents or whether we have to have a bounce first towards 26 and then get towards 18 cents, but it tells you a lot. And we have been seeing those corrections taking place normally or usually as well. Like here, we have been seeing a pretty natural correction taking place, retest of the previous resistance becoming support, which most likely is going to happen here too. And then we're getting a new impulse wave, in which if we are going to break through 31 cents, we are also going to sweep all these highs. So then I'm assuming that we can have another one, which is going to take us towards 60 to 70 cents for Skale. So definitely these three coins are high on the list right now, in which I prefer to start building positions instead of selling them. That's the update for today. Don't forget to subscribe beneath. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Don't forget to enjoy life, don't do stupid shit, and I'll see you again on Monday.